This video is about the contrapositive, which is something that superficially seems difficult, but only because the word contrapositive is weird. I mean, this is actually not a hard concept, it's just unfamiliar. So a contrapositive just means something that's true about a statement. So in past videos I've used cats have tails that I've drawn as C arrow T. This is a sufficient condition on the left, and on the right hand side there's a necessary condition. All the contrapositive means is something else that's true. So sufficient means if something's a cat, we know it has a tail. That's the necessary condition. What happens if we don't have the necessary condition? If we don't have a tail, then something's not a cat. That's all the contrapositive is. And I'm going to show you how to do this for any statement. It's called reversing and negating. So step 1, reverse. We take C arrow T and you draw it as T arrow C. Step 2, negate. This is another kind of fancy word, but it's not hard. It just means put a line through it. So T arrow C, and then you put a line through both terms. That's all. And you now know 95% of everything there is to know about the contrapositive. It's that simple. You take a statement and you negate it. So let's look at another statement. Let's say I had Q's are not R. I don't even know what this means. It doesn't matter. You can still take the contrapositive of it. Your first step is you reverse it. Not R leads to Q. Your second step is you negate it. So you take the line out of R and you put a line on Q. So negate just means change the line. So here, Q arrow R is the normal statement, and the contrapositive is R arrow not Q. That's it. There's only one thing left to know about the contrapositive. Let's say that if you have a pet, I'm going to scroll down a bit more. If you have a pet, you have a cat or a dog. Now, this is obviously a false statement, but remember I said you are not supposed to challenge the truth of statements on the LSAT. If they say this is true, then pretend it is. The contrapositive of this, so you reverse everything, cat or dog, arrow P. You negate everything, put a line through it. And the only difference is when there's an or on the LSAT, or an and you take a contrapositive, you change it to and. And if you think about it, this makes sense. So I'm saying if you have a pet, you have a cat or a dog. So the opposite of this has to be if you don't have a cat and you don't have a dog. Only then you can say you have no pet. Because if you didn't have a cat but you did have a dog, then you would have a pet. So the only way to do contrapositive is to also negate the or by changing it to and vice versa. The last thing I'll mention, I gave this sentence earlier, if you're a cat, or in another video if you're a cat, you have a tail, and if something is a tail, it has vertebra. You can take a contrapositive of a longer statement like this. You just do the same thing. You reverse it, and then you negate it. Just like that. So if you don't have vertebra, then you're not a cat. I recommend that you get in the habit of drawing contrapositives. At the start, just do them deliberately like I've done. Draw everything, reverse it, then negate it. As you get better, you can reverse and negate at the same time. And as you get to expert level, then you don't even have to draw the contrapositives. I'm able to just look at something like this, cat tail vertebra, and I can see the second part in my head. But that's a high level skill, and it only comes from having drawn lots of contrapositives. So for now, you should draw the contrapositive of every statement you do, at least on review. You may not do it in time practice. And then as you get better at this, you can leave off details that you're already seeing naturally. So to review, contrapositive is just something you can do with any conditional statement, and you reverse it and you negate it and you get the contrapositive. This is the original, that's the contrapositive. It's a very simple mechanical operation. That's all there is to it. And these are flip sides of the same coin. So it's not like these are two separate statements. They're drawn separately, but really they're both just things that are true. If I say all cats have tails, then this is true, and the contrapositive is also true.